2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, it's Monday the 13th of September and it's Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day. And a big happy birthday to Tyler Perry, Stella McCartney, Shane Warne and Niall Horan.
7.
There were 29,173 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday and 56 additional deaths. Health Secretary Sajid Javid was on the Sunday morning talk shows with good news about vaccine passports. There won't now be any need for them, for the moment at least. This comes after plans were due to take effect from the end of this month, which would have seen requirements for them in nightclubs and large events. He says he was never a fan.
I've never liked the idea of saying to people, you must show your papers or something to do what is just an everyday activity. But we were right to properly look at it, to look at the evidence. We've looked at it properly, and whilst we should keep it in reserve as a potential option, I'm pleased to say that we will not be going ahead with plans for vaccine passports.
And with Boris due to announce the winter COVID plan later this week, Sajid had good news for those worried about December the 25th.
Yeah, of course we get Christmas.
We get Christmas. Yeah. We don't get lockdowns?
I'm not anticipating any more lockdowns. I think it would be irresponsible for any health minister around the world to take everything off the table. But I just don't see how we get to another lockdown.
She broke a whole load of records this weekend and had 9.2 million people watching Channel 4 on Saturday night as she won the US Open. She's 18-year-old Emma Raducanu and she won 9 games in a row to come from qualifying all the way to winning the tournament, the first British woman to win a Grand Slam title in 44 years. She was commended by the Queen for her outstanding performance and also by Boris and a whole host of tennis greats, including Martina Navratilova, who was genuinely impressed by her talent.
First qualifier ever to win either women's or men's major. The only reason she had to play qualifying was she hadn't played enough tournaments to have a ranking high enough to get in. It's ridiculous. I'm blown away. She's a spectacular tennis player and she's going to be a superstar.
Emma planned to celebrate with some chocolate-flavoured frozen yoghurt, and she might even just treat herself to a new pair of AirPods, as she explained to ESPN.
Before my first round qualifying match, I lost my AirPods, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? If you win this match, you can buy yourself a pair of AirPods, and that's become the right.
Saturday marked 20 years since the events of 9/11, and there were a number of ceremonies to mark the occasion, including a gathering at Ground Zero in New York, attended by President Biden, and featuring a performance by Bruce Springsteen. Former President George W. Bush also marked the occasion with a strong speech highlighting that the greatest danger to America today comes from domestic extremists and calling on his fellow Americans to confront this new challenge.
The dangers to our country can come not only across borders, but from violence that gathers within. There is little cultural overlap between violent extremists abroad and violent extremists at home. But in their disdain for pluralism, in their disregard for human life, they are children of the same foul spirit, and it is our continuing duty to confront them.
Lawyers for Virginia Giuffre, one of sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's victims who are suing Prince Andrew in a civil suit in the US, claim to have served him with legal papers this weekend at Windsor. Prince Andrew's lawyers say that the papers, which were left with a police officer at his home, have not in fact been properly served at all, and now a New York judge will decide what happens next. Meanwhile, Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, hosted his annual 9/11 commemorative dinner, at which he took an unexpected detour, starting with a rather odd impression of the Queen.
You did a wonderful job on September 11, and therefore I'm making you an honorary knight, commander of the Royal something or other. I turned down a knighthood because if you took a knighthood, you had to lose your citizenship. I know Prince Andrew is very questionable now. I never went out with him. Ever. Never had a drink with him. Never was with a woman or a young girl with him. Ever.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Sean Keaveney signs off and Ronaldo makes a triumphant return to Old Trafford. Right after this.
You're listening to the Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform. It was a busy weekend of Premier League action which saw Liverpool win 3-0 at Leeds, Chelsea beat Aston Villa 3-0 at home, and Crystal Palace defeating league leaders Spurs 3-0. It It was also a big weekend in Manchester as Cristiano Ronaldo returned to Old Trafford and marked his second debut with 2 goals in a 4-1 victory over Newcastle. His mother and Stormzy both turned up to watch the game, although not together, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric as Cristiano explained why he's so happy to be back at United.
Everyone knows that the football here in England is different than any part of the world. I play everywhere, and to be honest, the England it's the most special one. And you know, I belong to Manchester. I arrived here with 18 years old, and they treat me unbelievable. This is why I come back, because they treat me unbelievable. So I'm so proud to be here, and I want to be.
Friday saw a music radio legend hang up his headphones, for now at least. BBC 6 Music's Sean Keaveney left the station on Friday after 14 years, which included a long run on breakfast. He's off to make podcasts now. Know your place, Sean, just get in line. And he closed out his radio show with a really heartfelt moment.
But those people who say it's just a radio show are wrong. It's not just a radio show. For years I got sad and angry. I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential, you know. Like, why can't I write a sitcom or an album or a novel? That's something that will live forever and stand the test of time. Radio's just ephemeral, right? It's just steam off your cup of tea. Well, you're wrong. It's a community, and we built this community together.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is the latest Marvel blockbuster, and it's already made over $250 million worldwide. It's also significant because Simu Liu plays Marvel's first Asian superhero. Simu spoke to Jimmy Fallon about what it was like growing up watching superhero movies and how important it feels to finally be able to represent the Asian community on screen.
I think I loved what superheroes represented, which is this kind of hope and this unlimited possibility, and I just feel like everybody, regardless of, you know, the color of their skin or where they come from, deserves to see themselves represented in that way. So what I'm really excited about this movie is that we get to provide that for kids everywhere, you know, and to be something that I never had growing up.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.